Alright, let's begin the exterior tour of the 2024 Dodge Charger ScatPack Stage 2 with the front end. Let's take a look at the front end of this 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona ScatPack. So again, the front headlights are bifunction LED premium reflector headlights, surrounded by, again, an LED light strip. So again, it's a black housing, reflector, headlamps that are LED, with an LED light strip that goes around the headlights, and an LED light strip that runs across the front of the car all the way to the driver's side and passenger side headlight. So again, you see it deep down inside there. It's a black housing reflector headlights with an LED light strip in front and an LED light strip that runs across. So again, the front is definitely very reminiscent of not the Chargers, but previous generation Dodge Challengers. Another very notable feature of the front end starts with the center of the grille, and if you look underneath there, you can actually see the sunlight through that. So again, right underneath here, and as you can see, my hand and my fingers go right through it. I can literally put my hand through that. Again, is the front hood scoop that runs, again, all the way through. So again, you can see right through there. That is a very, very cool, again, form and function in the front hood scoop, essentially. So again, the hood scoop is actually kind of integrated into the front bumper. As you can see, that's the front bumper, and this line right here that you see is where the headlight starts, and again, it's sculpted right into the car. So again, there's like a front air dam that I assume provides two things. Number one, provides a fuel efficiency. So again, this is an electric vehicle, and everyone is always worried about fuel efficiency when it comes to electric vehicles. So again, this probably provides great drag coefficient, and also provides probably great, again, downforce when you're going down high speeds. So again, form and function. I think it looks really, really great. And it's probably my favorite design feature of the front end. It's very, very subtle, especially in its white color. But again, you can see right through to the front from the headlights. So again, it's just like this really great combination of just like hood to headlight to, again, front grille, and it's just everything's just function and form. And again, it looks really great. Kudos to Dodge for again, integrating this design. And I'm sure this design harkens back to previous generations, especially of the 1960s, of the Dodge Charger. I do like this subtle nod with this, again, amber side marker on the side right next to the front bumper parking sensor. Again, probably for safety reasons and probably legally mandated, but again, I really love the color combination of, again, amber with the white with the black. So again, just looks really great. Even something so subtle as a side marker. Again, front bumper knocked it out of the park. Front end design knocked it out of the park. I think Dodge did a really good job designing the front end of the new 8th generation Dodge Charger. And right in front, you do have a again, a front facing camera mounted right dead center. The front bumper also features this functional front grille, nicely designed with a contrasting flat black against the white paint job. Definitely looks really, really great. Another great design feature of the front end is, again, an integrated front spoiler in a contrasting glossy black. So again, here's the front spoiler. Again, it's a nice little finish to the front end. Definitely provides, hopefully, some sort of aerodynamics, but also provides definitely a good form and function. It definitely looks really clean, and definitely finishes off the front bumper of this Dodge Charger very, very well. You do have your integrated parking sensors right in front, so you can protect that front bumper. And on the side, you do have these grill inlets, but unfortunately, again, this grill right here seems to be a faux outlet. That's unfortunate. I'm not sure why they didn't just open this up a little bit, provide some sort of air, to provide some sort of aerodynamics. Again, this is an electric vehicle, so I assume that this will probably help at least provide some sort of better fuel economy, or at least just help cool the brakes. But again, these are faux outlets, but they do contrast well with, again, the black and the white in the front. And right in front, you do have your new but old fratzog emblem, and it can only be seen when you again unlock the car. So again, this is Dodge Charger's new emblem for the Dodge Charger, but again, it has been used in yesteryears in previous 1960 Dodges and so forth, and people are still trying to figure out exactly what it means, and it definitely appears as mysterious as its history. So again, you will not be seeing any sort of Dodge logos on the front bumper of this Dodge Charger. You'll only see this mystery emblem. Dun dun dun. Now let's take a look at the wheel and tire package of this 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona Scatpack. And the wheels here are actually very special because this car is actually equipped with what they call the carbon and suede package. And with the carbon and suede package, you do get these really cool kind of black aluminum wheels, and the fronts measure a 20 by 11 while the rears measure a very thick 20 by 11 and a half. So again, definitely very muscle car drag specs for these wheels. So let's take a closer look at the wheel and tire package of this Dodge Charger. So the front of the Dodge Charger wheels again are these black aluminum wheels, and they are again finished with this kind of anthracite slash gunmetal finish. Definitely very cool. The fronts measure again a 20 by 11, and they're wrapped in very meaty 305 35 ZR rated 20-inch tires. So definitely very thick. Behind these 20-inch wheels, you do have again Dodge's performance branded brakes, big brakes, and these are huge, painted in a red caliper. And again, you can see the SRT logo, and again probably provided by Brembo, which you do see there. So again, I think this is a great color contrast package. Again, you have these huge red Brembo brake calipers contrasting with the white paint, and again the anthracite slash gunmetal gray finish, and again huge slotted brake rotors, almost as big as again these 20-inch wheels. So again, I think it's a great wheel and tire package for this 2024 Dodge Charger Scatpack Stage 2. So again, this wheel and tire and brake package is available when you option the carbon and suede package, which is what this car has. And again, another thing that comes with the carbon and suede package, and you can't really see it, but you can definitely see a little bit of part of it inside there. This car also comes with the track package, which comes with a wide body competition suspension and adaptive damping suspension, and the Brembo again ultra high performance brake with the red brake calipers, and again the 20-inch all-season tires. So again, this is a highly spec'd 2024 Dodge Charger Scatpack Stage 2 with almost all the option packages checked off. Now let's take a look at the rear tire wheel package. So again, the rears are a little meatier and a little wider. The rears measure a 20 by 11 and a half black aluminum wheels, and again they are staggered wheels, so the rear tires are a little thicker than front. The rears measure a 325 35 ZR rated 20-inch tire size, and again the rears do have that red painted SRT branded but provided by Brembo brake calipers, which is huge slotted rotors. So again, this is a 20-inch rim with again, if you can see the size of that rear again caliper, and not only rear caliper but also rear rotor, these brakes are huge for a car of this size, and again definitely needs it with all that 670 horsepower. So again, a great wheel and tire package in this 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona Scatpack Stage 2. And as mentioned before, this car does come with a carbon and suede package, and with the carbon and suede package you get these really cool again carbon fiber side mirrors with integrated 360 camera underneath. But again, this is definitely a real carbon fiber finish, and it looks great in the sunlight. Definitely very cool. The carbon and suede package also features this really cool, and I think fits very well with this vehicle, this again black painted rear spoiler. in the rear. And again, I think it contrasts really well with this white paint. So again, the spoiler only comes when you option the track package, which comes with, again, the Brembo brakes, the carbon fiber side mirrors, and again, this black gloss painted rear spoiler. And another great option for this that this car has is something called the Sun and Sound package, which is a $2,500 package, and it comes with what you see here. It looks like it's black painted roof, but it is not. It is actually a full glass panoramic roof that spans the front of the car all the way to the rear. And we'll definitely get a better look at that glass feature when we do the interior tour. But again, from afar, it essentially looks like a black painted roof, but it is not. If you look very closely, it is actually a full glass panel running right across. And again, I think this black roof really contrasts well with, again, the white paint of this Dodge Charger. So when I first saw this car, and even from afar, most people assume that this car, again, looks like, again, previous Dodge type of a Charger slash Challenger type design. But if you look very closely, and when I saw this car in person, the front and rear fenders actually have this kind of like wide body flare to it. So again, if you take a look at the front very, very subtly, again, we have a very wide 20-inch wheel package. In order to fit that 20-inch wheel package, you do need these, again, wider fenders in front. So again, it's very, very subtle, but again, if you could look very, very closely, there is a bulge to the front. And I think that provides a very subtle aggressiveness, especially from this angle here. So again, the front fenders do have this kind of wide body finish to it. And I do want to note that this car is actually much wider than actual previous Dodge Chargers, and is actually wider than the Dodge Charger Hellcats with the wide body fender flares. So again, that car that I reviewed a few months ago, again, had the again, wide body fender flares of the previous generation Dodge Charger, and that thing was pretty wide already. But apparently, according to the numbers, this car, the newest 8th generation Charger, is actually a lot more wider than that. With the Dodge Charger ScatPack Stage 2 option, you also get these cool emblems on the fender of the Dodge Charger. So again, the front emblem does have Stage 2 so people know that you have that 600+ horsepower electric motor. And right on top, again, the return of the Super Bee. Again, I really love the Super Bee. In my previous review of the Last Call Dodge Charger, that car definitely had the Super Bee emblems everywhere, and I'm glad to see our friend return. So again, and he returns this time with a very, very cool, like kind of like gunmetal finish with, again, that gold bumblebee color. So again, definitely very, very cool. And that's probably my favorite part of this car is, again, these fender emblems. Definitely provides, again, just like this really cool, like again, look to these fenders, which is a great addition to, again, the subtle fender flares that you see right in front to fit these massive 20-inch wheels with the SRT branded Brembo brakes. So again, it looks really, really great, especially from this angle. Scrolling on down, you do have full electric door handles that you reach underneath there and it'll open right up. And you do have your quote-unquote gas cap on the driver's side. Again, not gas cap. Again, this is where you're going to be charging your full electric 8th generation Dodge Charger. So again, definitely looks like a gas cap, but it's definitely not a gas cap. And right underneath the gas cap, we do have, again, what I said earlier about how this car may not look like it has a wide body, but again, this car is wider than all previous Dodge Chargers, even with the previous Dodge Charger wide body fenders. So again, it's very, very subtle, but if you look very closely, the rear fenders do have this flare to it. So again, this car isn't an entire box. It's actually a box with very, very subtle flares to it to, again, fit these really, really wide, again, 20 by 11.5 wheels tires. And these rear tires are actually very, very thick. Again, these are 325/35 size rear tires here. So again, you would need like a flared fender to fit that well. And again, you can kind of see it here. So again, that's probably my favorite design feature of this car is like this very subtle flare. It's not as like pronounced as previous generation Dodge Chargers with the wide body fenders, but again, this does have a very subtle flare to it if you look very, very closely here. Very, very nice, especially from this angle. It looks really great. And I want to note one very, very And I believe the only design feature that was brought back from previous generations of the Dodge Charger is this body line right here that runs right across all the way down to the front of the car. And again, that is very, very reminiscent of all previous generation Dodge Chargers. So again, it's kind of like a subtle nod to previous designs. Again, definitely great design from the front and sides. Again, here is the passenger side mirror, but again, this car does come with the carbon package, with again features these carbon fiber side mirrors with the integrated 360-degree camera that you receive right underneath there. Very, very cool. Scrolling on out. Another cool thing to note is that if you see a side skirt, the side skirt isn't just a normal side skirt. It's actually painted in a gloss black, and I think really, again, ties into this panda theme of this car. I think it looks really great, painted black. And I'm sure if you didn't like it, you could probably repaint it white and it'll also look great. So again, the driver's side also has that, again, black gloss painted side skirt that's run down to the side of the car. Again, I think it contrasts very well, and again, matches very, very well with, again, that front painted black spoiler in the front. So this car is not only wide, but this car is actually very long. So again, this is the 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona. And if you understand the Dodge Charger Daytona, the Dodge Charger is the 4-door in previous generations, while the Challenger in the past was a 2-door. But right now, the initial release of the new Charger, it only comes in a 2-door. But it may have only 2 doors, but its proportions are actually 4-door. So if you see this rear quarter panel mirror, it's actually almost equivalent to the size of the driver's side front window. So again, this car is not only wide but also long. And again, there will be a 4-door version of this 8th generation Charger released in the future, but for right now, all you get is 2 doors. But again, just because you have 2 doors doesn't mean you sacrifice space, and we'll definitely see the rear seats later on to demonstrate that. Now let's begin the exterior tour of the rear end of the 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona ScatPack Stage 2. So when you take a look at the rear end of the 2024 Dodge Charger ScatPack Stage 2, this is when the car actually starts looking like a Dodge Charger. So again, as a reminder, the front end definitely looks very Dodge Challenger like from previous generations, but the rear end of it definitely starts looking more like a Dodge Charger. So as to remind you guys, I did do a review of the previous generation Dodge Charger, and I'll leave the link in the description below. And the rear end of that particular car looks exactly like this. As you can see, it has a, let me get that better lighting. So again, if you do look at the rear end of it, there is that light strip in the rear that goes all the way across. Very, very, very similar to, again, the new Dodge Charger with, again, an LED light strip that goes all the way across the rear end, all the way from the passenger to the driver's side. So this car again has the carbon and suede optional package, and with that optional package again comes with a black gloss painted rear spoiler that's very subtle, but again contrasts very well with the white paint. So again, this rear spoiler is only available if you check the carbon and suede option package for the Dodge Charger. So again, it is going to be painted in a contrasting gloss black, and I think it looks really, really great again against this white paint. The rear LED taillights again are very reminiscent of previous generation Dodge Chargers, but they just basically have squared it off. And again, so the center, you have this clear turn signal that's squared, and it's surrounded by, again, this red light strip that goes, again, all the way across, which again is very reminiscent of previous generation Dodge Chargers. And it goes all the way across. And again, just like the previous generation Dodge Charger, I really do love the contrast of, again, of this like clear smoked turn signal in the center, surrounded by, again, this LED light strip around the tail lights. And the LED light strip runs all the way across, and again, it's surrounded by a black housing surround outside of that. So again, a lot of different textures, different colors, and again, I think it contrasts really well with this, again, black spoiler, then you have a little bit of white paint, and again you have a little black paint, and then the red LEDs, and in the center you have the clear reflectors, and again the white paint again. So again, definitely very reminiscent of previous generation Dodge Chargers. And again, the light strip turns on from all the way across the center of the rear end of the car. So again, definitely very cool rear tail light setup of the 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona Scatpack. And right dead center, very subtly, if you look very closely, you do have again the newest Dodge Charger mysterious fratzog emblem. That again is a emblem from the past but is now brought to the present. What it means, we may never know. But again, this is what the new emblem that's supposed to represent the new electric chargers are supposed to be like. Very cool, very mysterious. And again, housed in a very mysterious black housing right dead center in the rear of the new electric Dodge Charger. Another great design element on the rear end of the Dodge Charger Daytona Scatpack Stage 2 is the lower half of the rear bumper. And again, the lower half of the rear bumper is actually painted in a very cool gloss black that runs all the way across. It has this integrated, I assume, safety reflectors that are red. So again, great contrast between the red reflector with the, again, black painted lower rear spoiler, or what I like to call it, again, it looks like an electric, again, race car rear diffuser. Definitely very cool. And again, it's painted in a gloss black, contrasts really well with the black white paint, and very subtly etched into this black rear bumper is again the term and the name Daytona right across. So again, this is the Dodge Charger Daytona, and right underneath it you have this very new mysterious I guess mysterious term that is called Fratzonic, Fratzonic. What that means, well, we'll see right now, but let's just take at the design of it. So again, the lower half of the rear bumper does have this kind of like rear diffuser like grille underneath this, definitely very race car like. And again, I really love the contrast of, again, the gloss black, the white, the red tail lights, the black spoiler. So again, definitely very cool, and provides it a definite like a race car rear diffuser on the rear end of this again, all electric Dodge Charger. So the fratzog emblem may be mysterious, but the term in the lower rear bumper, Fratzonic, is not. Fratzonic here is basically Dodge Chargers, or Dodge's, again, patent pending, essentially rear exhaust. So again, this car is full electric, but the rear end of this car actually has a quote-unquote electric exhaust that provides two things. It provides sound and it provides motion and feeling. So basically, when you turn on the car and go into various drive modes, the rear Fratzonic exhaust, patent pending by Dodge, basically produces like a V8 rumble, and depending on whether you're in track mode or like street mode, they'll get louder and louder and replicate the sounds of the V8 motor, but also not only replicate the sounds, but also replicates the rumble and actual feel of vibration. So basically, when you put into track mode, you can actually hear, and not only hear, but also feel in the car an increase in the vibration, as if there was some sort of like V8 in the hood and a rumble from the exhaust. So again, it provides sound replication, and it provides motion replication. The only thing it doesn't replicate is the sound of, or the smell of, race gas. But again, this is again Dodge's Fratzonic patent pending exhaust for their electric vehicles to replicate the rumble of a V8 motor, despite this car having only two electric motors.